Welcome, my dear audience and friends, to another episode of Cancer Convos with Grace B. This is your host, Grace B, coming to you from New York City, the city that never sleeps and is home to Cancer Convos with Grace B. I'd like to thank everyone, so much for your continuous support of our show. And I'd also like to wish everyone a happy Women's Month. This is the time when we celebrate amazing individuals who are doing wonderfully. And in this women's interview series, I'd like to highlight global innovators and entrepreneurs who are doing amazing stuff in the AI and digital health field. So thank you once again for coming. So in this episode, I will be bringing on a wonderful lady, someone who is doing amazing work, and is the CEO of a company that is really involved in oncology and, doing wonderfully. But I don't want to spill too much of the beans just now, because I would like her to tell you all about what she does and what her company does. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Marissa Fayer, who is an innovator and the CEO of DeepLook Medical, to the show. Thank you so much, Marissa, for coming on and joining us on this Women's Month interview series. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me, Grace. I'm excited to be here, and happy International Women's Month, everybody.
Oh, thank you so much. So, first of all, I'd like to start by asking, who is Marissa Fayer?
I am an innovator, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, an engineer. I used to be in corporate. I am now not in corporate, but I'm sure I'll be back in corporate. I'm an investor, but I'm everything women's health, and very much focused women's health. And I have been I started women's health about 20 years ago, before it was popular, and developed the 3D mammography system. Did a lot of mergers and acquisitions for the largest women's health company. And now I sit on the board of several women's health companies, do a lot of investing in women's health, and I'm the CEO of 2 women's health companies now. So while I've been in medical devices for 24 years, most of that's been spent focused on women and women's health on a global scale. So that's me.
That's not just you, that is everything.
A lot of stuff.
All encompassing. But the good thing is, women's health, and that's our focus for this series. So with that experience, what encouraged you to actually go into, that path of being an innovator? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, I fell into it, honestly. I mean, I'm an engineer by background, so I think naturally we are innovators. And so I did a lot of innovation inside companies, doing a lot of new projects and cost savings and optimizations and mergers and acquisitions and, new product development. And then I kind of went into it externally from the large corporations, doing a lot of consulting. I was downsized out of a company. I strategically took it, and then I started a consulting firm. So I innovated to create opportunities for myself, and then created a global nonprofit because I saw that there was a gap in the market. And so, became an innovator, and I think it's just who I am. I'm not good with complacency. I'm not good with status quo. And I almost think that's the definition of an innovator. So, and that's how I became, I think, an innovator. It's just natural to me. And I learned I think I've always challenged the status quo, but I really learned to harness it into something for good.
That's wonderful. That's, invariably thinking outside the box. That's it,
Exactly.
to be able to, carve your own path in that regard. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. So what is DeepLook all about, actually? What's the mission and vision as regards healthcare?
Yeah, absolutely. So DeepLook Medical is a software technology company, and we have our first product, which is FDA cleared already. and it's called DL Precise.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. It is a one-click measurement, segmentation, and visualization tool for soft tumor masses. So we've been cleared across all imaging modalities, so mammography, ultrasound, CT, and MRI, and then across all health conditions. We very much focus right now on breast imaging, because it's the largest subsegment of all imaging, because it's one of the only annualized screenings that happen. So that's pretty exciting in a very large market. There's also a lot of supplemental imaging, and there's a lot of biopsies. And unfortunately, 1 in 8 women get breast cancer. Actually, it's trending to 1 in 7. And so what we do specifically, and the real big innovation, is that we can visualize inside dense tissue, which very specifically affects dense breasts, which is 45% of all women on a global scale. And it's really an equity issue, which is important to me because it disproportionately affects Black women, Asian women, and Jewish women. And that means that there's women who have much higher cancer rates just because of the genetics of their body. And unfortunately, today's imaging can't fully visualize and see through that. But with DeepLook, you can. And so that is our mission, and our vision is to improve women's lives and everybody's lives. We can be used on other types of cancers too: lung, liver, thyroid, prostate, all other things. And we're being used in neuro cancers right now. And so, our vision is a world where there's just more answers. And, eventually we're not stopping cancer. We're just being able to find it earlier, so that there is a 99% survival rate, as opposed to a much lower survival rate when you find it later.
Yes, and this is what tugs at my heartstrings when you spoke about density, because I am a breast cancer survivor, and it took like about 3 mammograms and eventually a biopsy to be able to, come to my diagnosis. And by the time I was diagnosed through that minimally invasive biopsy, I was already a stage 3. So if I had known, and if there was, that opportunity to have seen that, okay, she has dense breasts, and, this biopsy should be done earlier,
Right.
I think I would have nipped it in the bud,
Yeah,
as soon
absolutely.
as
And
possible.
congratulations for being a survivor, because it's a tough journey, honestly. But that's exactly what we do. If you're gonna have cancer, then let's find it at stage 1. Let's
Exactly.
find it where, you don't have to deal with it at stage 3. Let's find it
Exactly.
earlier. Let's, reduce the anxiety in between. And, eventually we'll have the ability to be reducing the amount of biopsies, because so many of them are unnecessary. Now we're saying the ones that are necessary, absolutely you need to keep doing them, but maybe you could have skipped 2 mammograms in between and gone straight from the mammogram, maybe to the ultrasound, and then straight to a biopsy, all maybe within the
Exactly.
same week. That would have been impactful. And something that I've just heard recently, which really scares me, there are 20,000 women right now walking around the United States that have breast cancer and don't know it, only because they've received a false negative in their mammogram, because it didn't pick it up and because it couldn't have been seen. And so 20,000 women should be in cancer treatment right now,
But they don't know.
but they don't know that they have it, and now it's going to progress to a later stage, unfortunately.
Those are scary statistics,
Yeah.
honestly. Very
Yeah,
scary.
20,000 in the United States. Imagine
It's a
that on a
lot.
global scale,
Yeah. Imagine that in underserved communities, those that don't
Absolutely.
even have that opportunity,
Absolutely.
access.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so happy about that. Considering the fact that, your innovation allows early treatment of malignancy for across, the oncology board. What what should I say? What advice would you have given to someone like me, if I'm supposed to present myself for imaging, for example?
So unfortunately, it shouldn't be up to you. It shouldn't be your responsibility. We're in an age where it is our responsibility, and it's no fault of the doctors and the radiologists.
Hmm.
They're exhausted. There's not enough of them. and they're trying their best. And that's why we need to give them tools to be able to do better and to
Be more
have more
effective.
information and
Mm-hmm.
to, be able to look at the hard cases. But, for a patient, you need to advocate for yourself. If you
Yeah.
have dense breasts, you ask for, to make sure that DeepLook has looked at the technology, your imaging. And if you have dense breasts, you have to advocate for yourself to have an ultrasound. And unfortunately, for 3 years upon your dense breast diagnosis, which starts typically immediately,
Mm-hmm.
um, that you need to go every 6 months so that they can set a standard so that they know that there's nothing there. And in
Mm-hmm.
reality, once you have several clear mammograms and ultrasounds, and especially if you use DeepLook, if the technologist used it and there's nothing there, then you go back to annual screenings just like everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, unfortunately, we're in an age where we have to take control of our own health and we have to be advocates for ourselves. When they ask anybody that, do you want a 3D mammogram? Yes, you do. When they ask you if you want AI enhanced tools to be reading your images, yes, you do, if you can afford it. Do you advocate and say, hey, are you using DeepLook? I heard, I have dense breasts and you should be using that tool. If they don't know, great, point them to our website or tell them about it, or, reach out to me or anybody, and,
Yes.
and we will go in and obviously have a sales consultation and work with our partners on that. So, I mean, that's what we need. And, really learn up about it. There's a lot of resources out there, especially for women with dense breasts. There's a lot, and it's not something to be ashamed of. You literally have no control over it. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter, if you're, what your body build is. It doesn't make a difference. You can be the smallest person or the largest person, and your breast density has nothing to do with your weight. It has nothing to do with how you eat. It has nothing to do with where you live. That's it. It's simply genetics, and there's nothing you can do
Or
about it.
even race.
Resources like yours
Mm-hmm.
that are out there, use the resources of the breast cancer, alliances.
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of information.
Yes.
The Black Women Breast Cancer Association, like there's tons of information, and it is available for everybody, and it's
Mm-hmm.
free and it's accessible. And I think if you're not happy with the care that you're getting, then you need to go somewhere else with somebody who's actually going to sit down and have a conversation with you. And
Exactly.
maybe you bring it to your primary care doctor to review it with you. So I think it's like, we have to be advocates for ourselves, because we've all found, especially women, that women have different bodies,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to be on top of our health very
Mm-hmm.
specifically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for me, I love it. I love AI. I know there's, a lot to be done, and it's the hope for our future. And leveraging AI is actually what is going to put us on the map towards, trying to eliminate diseases, on
Yes.
time. Because
Yes,
I'm really interested in the preventative, catching these diseases on time.
absolutely.
But what is your take on, um, should I say, the mistrust or the hesitation for people to actually adopt AI, especially in healthcare?
Yeah. So I think there's a difference that people need to understand between very general AI and
Hmm.
machine learning and generative AI. They're literally three different things. We have all been using AI, what is considered very traditional AI, for 25 years. Computer code, it's Google, it's anything, it's WebMD, it's any technology, very basically is AI. So I think, we have to think about,
Yes.
there's, everyone says, oh, I don't trust it anymore. No, you don't trust some of the new things that have not been proven,
Hmm.
but, you're saying this while you're Googling it on your phone, which is all AI. So you obviously do like some AI. So I think
Exactly.
like we have to understand the definitions of AI first. Second of all, absolutely. Generative AI is a relatively new tool, and it still needs to be proved. It still needs to be verified, and there needs to be guidelines around it. And
Hmm.
absolutely, but again, generative AI has been in existence for for a while. It's far more prevalent now, with ChatGPT and all of these things, but it's been around for quite a while. So, I mean, in healthcare, obviously, at this point, I think again, there's a difference between what you consider a robot making your medical decisions, or tools to help your physicians get to a better diagnosis or decision faster. That's decision support. That's information gathering. That's a compilation of pulling together all of the medical journals that have ever been written and, doing one initial search and then in 20 seconds getting all of the information back. That's using AI to help them better
streamline,
themselves
yes,
and streamline and better, your patient care.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think, listen, like I think there's so many controversial things about AI. I don't think there's that many controversial things related to the guide rails that everybody should be following for AI in healthcare. Right now, doctors, physicians, nurses are making still all decisions. AI is being used, quite significantly in the back end. So they're managing billing, they're managing your electronic health records, they're giving the physicians information, but they're not making decisions. That's why it's called decision support.
Yes.
And that's the only claims that have been out. And there's very few of them that actually have been out because we're not decision support yet. There's very few decision support AI tools that are out in existence. And again, exactly as it sounds, decision support. And it's not, it's like a map.
Yes.
You can read the map and still take a left when it tells you to take a right.
Mm-hmm.
The physician has the information and can take its recommendation or something else. It will continue to get better with more information. It will get better as obviously as we have
time goes on,
guide rails. Yeah, as time
Mm-hmm.
goes on, as more information, as it's more trained with better and new information.
Mm-hmm.
Machine learning is only as good as the data that you feed it. And this is something that actually at DeepLook we're very passionate about because we work with Emory University that has the largest mammography database. And it's very specific that in our work, in our trials, in our training of machine learning, we make sure that there's a diverse data set in there. There's not everybody who does that. We made sure that 40% of all images that we are training our machine learning, it comes from a Black woman because that's the population.
Yes.
10 to 15% Asian, there's other people in there, there's Jewish, everybody's in this population to make sure. But, if we fed it with only, white urban women from New York, well, that's you're not going to potentially get the same results.
Yes.
And this is
so diversity is key in these things. Yes.
Yeah, diversity in clinical trials, diversity in machine learning and AI. Diversity in clinical trials is now a rule. Diversity in AI and machine learning, it's become a recommendation. It's not yet required, but it is a recommendation and a strong one, from the FDA and from other governing bodies. So it will become, we all hope, part of the requirements. And so, yeah, there's a lot of controversial things in AI. I just, anybody really who's in healthcare is not out to hurt people.
No.
We're here to help. And there's absolutely, and I know, everybody online is going to write a comment, oh, there's so many bad things, yeah, there is. But there's so many incredible things that are happening. And in reality, if you look at the sum total, and I have lots of things to say about the bad things, but if you look at the sum total,
the pros of
healthcare,
yeah.
Right, people who are in healthcare want to help, want to make things better, want to make people's health better. None of us went into healthcare to hurt people. That's exactly. not why we went into this field. So we made a choice to go into this field.
I absolutely agree with you there. The pros actually outweigh the cons, whether anyone wants to believe it or not. What would you say are the downsides of using wearables? Because I've been in, conversations where people have said, oh my God, if not for my, Apple Watch, I wouldn't have realized I was going to have a stroke, or my BP was high, or something like that. At the same time, what would you say are the challenges as regards digital health, especially when it comes to wearables?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I wear an Oura ring. I've been wearing it for 2 years and I love it. And, I live my life by it and it's incredible. I love it. But I would say the same thing that we were just talking about related to AI. Not all wearables are trained on diverse people. And this happened during the pandemic where the pulse oximeters were never designed for people of color.
For Black, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
For anybody, Black, brown, Asian, anybody, Latina, nothing. And they were dying because they couldn't read it through the melatonin in their skin. And that's a problem. So, I haven't dove deep into, every wearable. I think
Yes.
that, I think that they're a lot more cognizant of it now, especially the newer companies. It's kind of built into their ethos. When it comes to wearables, I think you have to be cognizant of what it is and what you're trying to get out of it. I think the ones that are direct skin contact, such as, the rings, are far more effective than an Apple Watch that just sits on top of your skin. But there's different things that people are getting out of each different one, and that's human and operator dependent, quite honestly. I think they've been very helpful for many people related to fertility, related to, femtech. I think that it's very helpful, for women to have control and understanding what is happening in their bodies, probably several days before they actually know that it's happening. I think it's really important, as women are entering perimenopause, that you can see, the decreases and changes in your sleep, different hormone cycles, things like that. So listen,
Conception and all that. Yeah.
contraception, everything. Like I don't find much of a downfall with the wearables. Obviously, again, they have to be made for all people, and that's important. I think that if you have a very obsessive personality, it could sometimes make you crazy, I don't like the word crazy, make you obsessive about watching in the stats and this, and I have to do this, and I haven't walked, I need to walk 4 more steps and, to make my goal and things
That's
like
your
that.
life gone, definitely.
that becomes very obsessive. And, I don't think that's incredibly healthy. You have to listen. Like for me, it's incredibly helpful to remind me to listen to my body. I mean, today, my allergies are bothering me and I was supposed to work out, and you know what? My heart rate is elevated. I can feel it. I didn't have a great sleep last night. And you know what? I'm going to I chose not to do a workout because I need to give my body the rest that it is required. And, sure, I could have woke up in the morning and be like, I think I had a good sleep. I get more accurate readings when I have, the ring on my finger so that I can determine, that there's a little bit more accurate information. So I like most things about wearables. I think you have to understand what you want to get out of it to determine the right wearable for you.
Absolutely. And what would you say about, VR and AR? Because they are challenging the healthcare, the landscape in healthcare as well.
Absolutely. I think they're incredibly helpful technologies. They are newer than some of the other ones. So again, I think that they still need a lot of trial and studies done. I think for mental health, they have been proven incredibly valuable to reframe, to retrain, and to help visualize something that is different from the state in which you are in. I think that is incredibly helpful. I don't know as much about VR and AR just because it's a relatively newer field.
Yes.
But everything that I've been reading so far, it's a really exciting space. It is highly effective. And I can't wait to see what comes out of it, honestly, truly.
Yes. There was there was a documentary I was watching about VR, on a patient that had been involved in a motor accident. So
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot to be said about that. And
I do too.
I
I do
know
too.
that the best is yet to come, as
Yeah, I think
regards
there's a
that.
lot of innovations that are happening in the mobility space. So, people who are paralyzed or partially paralyzed, either due to a stroke or an accident or birth. And a lot of people are being able to retrain themselves and retrain their muscles to be able to, and refire the neurons to be able to, to have some additional mobility. It's incredibly important.
It is. It is. So, for DeepLook Medical, where do you see your company at in, let's say, the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, we'll be sold. So we'll be integrated into a much larger company. We're on the acquisition pathway. In about 12 to 18 months, we anticipate ourselves being sold to either a large strategic or another AI tech company. So,
Awesome.
so we will be, as a company, no longer in existence, but that's because we've been integrated into
Integrated.
a much larger company, and they are using our technology into, much bigger spaces as well.
So are you, there's something I have wanted to ask.
Yeah.
How are you working with the health professionals, integrating DeepLook Medical into into the workflow stations? Is it cumbersome? Is it easygoing?
Yeah, so we work with our partners actually. So we have some strategic partners that we work with, and
Okay.
we've integrated our technology into theirs, and so they're working to distribute it. So it's very much like a channel partner. So especially on the monitors that workstations the radiologists use, we're integrated directly into the technology. So it's really interesting because they don't need to go to another screen. So it actually becomes a workflow tool for them, as opposed to
Yes.
a burden where many other technologies, it's like, one of the reasons AI does not necessarily get adopted in healthcare is because it's too much work. There's too much
hmm
for them to do. They have to make six more clicks, and they don't have time for that. For
hmm
us, we're in what they're already looking at, and that's part of their normal workflow and part of their job. They only need to activate it when they want to. They only activate it when they have a hard case, or when it's dense, or they
hmm
want to see something or need some clarification.
hmm
It's not happening all the time. So that's how
Great.
we, integrate, which makes it far more seamless for us. And that's why we've just gone commercial. So we'll have a lot more adoption than companies that have been in existence for, 4, 5, chosen this pathway. Now, listen, I've been in healthcare my entire career, so I understand some of the better pathways
hmm
to integrate technology. I also don't have an ego about it.
hmm
I don't care if somebody's taking the credit for it. It's our technology. I know it's behind it. Everybody who we talk to and who eventually we sell the company to, knows it's our technology. So, if our name's not on it, our name's not on it. As long as the patients get better care, to us,
Exactly.
that's more important. And, AI, we go back to the AI topic, like the only way AI will be adopted in healthcare is if it's easy for the people who are doing the work.
hmm
And that's the pathway that we've chosen. And that's why we do direct integrations into other larger partners, multiple billion-dollar companies
hmm
that are already in the hospitals, in the radiologists, they're already there. This is just a
Yes.
new feature for them.
Awesome. That's wonderful. So, what would you say? This is a question I always ask my guests. If you could change one thing about healthcare, what would it be today? Just one thing.
Yeah, it's so hard to choose one. I would think,
Just one.
yeah, I know it's so hard. I
I
know there's so many
know.
things I
This
want to
is,
change every day.
I know.
So the one thing I would change is having having more accessibility to have conversations. And
hmm
I don't want patients to have to advocate for themselves. Not everybody has the ability to do that, the education, the knowledge, etc. I would, of course, like the doctors to have all the resources they possibly can, so
hmm
that they are the best informed, so that the patients can rely on that. That's important to me.
That's a good one. That's,
I try to cram in like 6 things in one answer.
I know.
So
That's
that's
why I said
why.
that's a good one. Um, with my other guests, we're like, you got that
Yeah,
right. That
so
was
many things.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. So, last but not least, you just spoke about, not working out and all that. Aside working out, what is one fun thing about you? How do you unwind?
Working out is definitely not how I unwind. So that's
How do
close to
you
me. So how
unwind?
do I unwind? I love to travel. I
Yeah.
love to travel. And so when I do have to travel for business, I typically try to add a day or two if I can, or at
Mm-hmm.
least at night, just be able to walk around somewhere after meetings. So I unwind via travel, via exploration. That's very much who I am. I like to explore. I always have. So,
Mm-hmm.
travel is an extension of exploration. So that's what I do. That's
Yes.
fun. That's me in my happiest state, as everybody says.
Just like me. I love to
Yeah,
travel. I mean, sometimes I'm just like, okay, where next? Vroom,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
Oh, this has been such an amazing conversation, Marissa. I didn't realize I'd enjoyed so much, but I did enjoy it, you know, asking those questions and getting those amazing answers, which, you know, anybody watching now would say, chapeau, that was really good.
Thank you.
So I'm sure another time I'll invite you over again to be able to discuss something else. And
Sure.
good luck on your integration, should I say, for the greater good, so to
Yes.
speak. And I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is an incredible conversation.
Awesome. So before I sign you out, let me just say one thing to the audience, okay? So, my dear audience and friends, there you have it. You've been listening to Marissa Fayer, the CEO and innovator of DeepLook Medical, who has been sharing her insights about AI and about her company. So you all guys, you know that it's Women's Month, and we're going to be speaking again to another amazing guest next week. So until then, don't forget to take care of yourselves. Love you guys. Ciao, ciao. Thank you so much, Marissa. See you
Thank
soon.
thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.